I'm here as a commission for the National Youth Choir that came about partially on the back of the tour to South Africa that just happened at Easter. I like writing pieces that are specific for people and for places and for occasions. In this case, it was asking the choir members to think about what it was to take something they do away with them and present it somewhere else. And for those people who had not travelled much, to think about what it means to leave home and be somewhere else, somewhere exotic, somewhere wonderful and exciting, but also leaving home, and then what it is to perform to people elsewhere with the things that they do and they love so much, and then to come back home. So that idea of travelling somewhere, singing somewhere, and then coming back. So we engaged in an exercise where they answered some fairly simple, slightly open-ended questions from me about going away, about coming back home, about what music means to them and what presenting it to other people means to them. So these are basic questions, and I got some just amazing email responses back, which then I'm thinking, God, I want to use all of these, but I also, the piece can only last a few, not that many minutes. So I fashioned a text out of the responses in a way that is, again, as I say, not so specific to this one point in time, but could have a more universal appeal to singers coming after them. And also some of the more poetic responses I wanted to use pretty much verbatim. And the way I felt it best to do this was to have someone speak them. Some things you can communicate really well through singing, and particularly through massed singing, because if I was writing a solo song, I can achieve a certain amount of comprehensible text delivery. You can do that with just a voice and a piano or voice and a small texture, but chorally putting across a lot of text and difficult concepts is a bit difficult. So I tried to pick the easiest parts of that to work with chorally, and then lock them in a canonic pattern that gets to go round and round in itself, and then have someone speak the words that I just found so engaging, and have someone speak that across the top. I hope that we were able to anonymise the text enough so that everybody felt that the words belong to them, but I'm sure there are also moments where people can be thinking privately, I wrote that. That's my bit, So it gives the choir ownership of it now, and I hope in the future that will still resonate. That the things that the members of the choir said now, people will identify with in the future. People were very open about their experiences and about their thoughts, and I wanted to put as much of that feeling into this piece as possible. But like I say, I hope that in future generations, people who come to this piece will be able to look at that and say, yeah, that's how I feel about music when I share it with other people in this National Youth Choir context. Writing for young voices is interesting for me, because I remember being really excited at that sort of age by singing chorally, singing really tricky music. I was excited by holding solo lines as part of an ensemble, so not necessarily stepping out and having solos, but singing one to a part within an ensemble, a consort if you like, as well as being part of a much larger choir. So the idea of having solo textures against choral textures is something I thought that would excite me at that age. I remember feeling there's something to be gained from singing something that is swift and easy to rehearse, and you can get it right first time and you can revel in that, or something that's well known, for example, but something that's easy. There's a pleasure to be had from that. But the pieces that stuck with me are the pieces that the first time you look at it you think, I'm not going to be able to manage this. This is too hard. We're not going to make it. And what that is the sight reader not being able to take it all in one go. Something I've learned as I've got older, and particularly had to memorize things, is as I've learned what working on a piece means, and something that at first sight can look very daunting. Once you know it, then it's easier. And I think what's important from me, again, just putting myself in their place and thinking what would excite me, is I want to make it challenging enough that at the end of the piece they can look at each other and say, my goodness, we did that. without making it so challenging that in the performance they're going, help! So consequently I had a feeling that I was going to be writing something that's basically tonal, and I was going to be writing something that would be in many parts so that people can revel in the sheer numbers of people singing. So when it's down to 4 or maybe just 5 voices to a part, that's something that you can get a sense of people, large numbers of people singing together. That's just very exciting, and I love that. But there are other moments when the piece really opens up into 8-part textures and then more, so that people can understand what it's like to be a small cog in something that's whirring around you. I don't get that feeling much nowadays in my professional solo career. I have different things to look forward to, but being part of a huge choral texture is not something I get to experience so much nowadays. So I just do it vicariously through the National Youth Choir and hope that whoever's singing kind of alto 2 right in the middle of it is having as much fun as the high sopranos or the low basses. And I just want everybody to feel they've got stuff they can get their teeth into.